Welcome to the Jedi Ranger. I'm JohnBerry555, and today I'm continuing my reviews for Star Wars Visions Volume 3. Today I'll be talking about the sixth episode that they released, or the sixth short film. The title is The Lost Ones, which is produced by the Japanese animation studio the Kinema Citrus. Again, I apologize. It's spelled with a K in English, but I don't know if it's pronounced with a K in English. Language translations are fun. But anyhow, this one is a sequel actually to The Village Bride, more or less. Honestly, except for the fact that we're still following the Jedi named F, there's not too many other connections. It's just another journey that she's on. And while I would say that The Village Bride was basically about her accepting her role as a Jedi, this is in her role as a Jedi. She helps some survivors from a planet that had been affected by a carbonite mining disaster that basically carbon froze half the planet, helps them get out just in time before a storm hits because they're doing some research in order to try to reverse the effects. And so that's there. But on board the refugee ship with them, she apparently, in sometime in her adventures, her leg got cut off or something, and so she has a new robotic leg. The Empire, I think, can I say, the Imperial Star Destroyer model is it's like photorealistic, which contrasts with the animation of the rest of the short film, and I think that's deliberate. Really show the manufactured nature of the Empire. It's not just different because it's um I don't know if I'm describing it right, but the fact that it's the Star Destroyer itself is such a different animation style contributes to the feeling of the Empire's authoritarianism, manufactured otherness, um, it being unnatural. Actually, that's probably a good way of putting it. Well, unnatural, manufactured, I guess do mean the same thing, but I think you guys understand what I'm getting at there. But anyhow, the Empire figures out that F is there somehow, but that doesn't matter because the Empire is demanding that F surrenders herself to the Empire or they're going to destroy the refugee ship. So that's what she does. Of course, one of the refugees, I forget as long as I'm not mixing them up, named Ron, I'm actually not quite sure because Wikipedia actually doesn't specify it yet. And for when I'm not sure, Wikipedia has been very helpful for me understanding which pronouns to use. But until I know for sure, I'm just going to use they. They decide to go with F2, basically so that way she can actually get out of the Empire. And they use a concentrated form of carbonite to sabotage the Star Destroyer's reactor and destroy the Star Destroyer, and it works. But F is brought into a chamber, and we discover that her Jedi Master, who she thought was dead, has somehow been brought back and is now working for the Empire, twisted by the dark side. So she confronts her former master, now going by the name Zero rather than by his Jedi Master name. Oh, and can I say something real quick? With Zero's design, I thought he was a she, and then once that was clarified that he was a he, I'm like, yep. I've heard that some Japanese animation style for oftentimes I believe villains, they make them look very effeminate. That's just something I've heard happens in anime, so I don't know why I was surprised that shows up. It probably hits in on my Western lens differently than it would have in the Japanese lens. Just something to take a note of, take stock of. But regardless, that doesn't really matter for the story at hand because the story is about F is confronting, I would say, maybe her own thing being set adrift. The show is called The Lost Ones. And I would say it's lost, and the lost ones are multiple. The refugees are all lost. They lost their home, they lost their communities. F is lost, she lost the Jedi. Yes, she's embraced her role as a Jedi, but she's still lost. It's, kind of aimless in what she's doing. She doesn't want to put roots down anywhere, likely because of the Empire. And F's master is also lost among the darkness. So everyone's lost in some form in this short film, and that really fits its title. Of course, the refugees have their new community that they're forming among each other, and F is accepted by them despite her feeling a bit aimless. But I get the sense that after this, she has more of a sense of purpose. Like she stops the Empire and stops her former master from basically reneging on the war, which I'm pretty sure the Empire would have done. But also, she, just like Ron used some concentrated carbonite to freeze her former master to stop him from causing harm to others people. While she may have been lost in some ways, she's not lost in the sense that she knows what her purpose is, to help protect others. She does say something along the lines of, I don't, I forget exactly what. Basically, that's, you know, I wish I wrote it down because it was a really good quote. But the I would say the sentiment was she doesn't necessarily need to protect them, but rather help them, or rather be a part of their community, which I think is supposed to perhaps show that she's maybe finding some purpose, or at least is no longer as adrift as she potentially was at the start of the short film. There's different ways we can interpret this, of course, but at least that's how I've interpreted it. If you interpret it differently, let me know in the comment section down below. And speaking of the comment section down below, let me know your thoughts on this short in general. There's most things we can discuss, but what I covered here is what I felt need to cover the most. And I do hope to see you tomorrow, where I'll be covering the 7th short film in Star Wars Visions Volume 2, The Smuggler, so I hope to see you then. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.